In January 1903, Chicago's Inter-Ocean newspaper featured a headline questioning whether a girl named Gertrude Strasburger had been abducted by her deceased lover's spirit. The state of Minnesota was shocked by the sensational disappearance of the 21-year-old, which presented an enigmatic and impenetrable mystery. Some believed that she had simply been dematerialized or transported to the spirit world, while spiritualists claimed that she had departed through a ghostly flight. Speculations arose that she had been lured into the spirit realm by her deceased lover's shade, like in the movie Insidious when you head into the further. The newspaper described her vanishing as the strangest and most perplexing event ever. On December 2nd, the day of her disappearance, Gertrude went skating with a bunch of friends on the frozen river near her home. She was left alone for a brief period during which she met an unknown fate. Let me explain. Although it may have seemed logical if she just went missing, that she had fallen through cracked ice, well, guess what? She had not drowned since there was no open water for miles. Furthermore, there were no tracks in the snow, indicating that she had not retreated from the scene. And despite exhaustive investigations, no conclusive leads emerged, and the girl simply vanished while skating on the river. Her friends did not hear any screams, no pleas for help, but it was noted that she had been hearing voices from the other world just before her disappearance. And over a month later, the mystery remained unsolved, and the city council offered a reward of $250 for information leading to the discovery of the girl, dead or alive. Yet, no progress had been made thus far either. And after Gertrude vanished, extensive searches were conducted by trained detectives, but they were unable to find any leads. On the day of her disappearance, Gertrude went with a group of friends, like I said, to Red River, where they skated for a while. And she decided that she didn't feel like participating in a race, and instead she just sat by the riverside where one of the young men started a fire for her. Just before this, Gertrude made a peculiar remark about hearing music and voices, including a call from someone named Will, who had passed away a few years earlier. And Gertrude and Will were close, and it was believed that they were actually engaged. And, her friends didn't pay much attention to her comment, as she had mentioned similar things in the past. But the believers in the supernatural are investigating the theory that the spirit of the young man appeared to the girl while she was alone on that log near the fire. Some speculate that she was transported to his spirit realm or spirit home. You can say this sounds crazy, but think about it. Where did she go? Gertrude was described as having dark complexion and dark eyes. She had an interest in spiritualism, theosophy, and the occult. She had expressed to friends that she wouldn't be surprised if she quote-unquote vanished one day. So locals started wondering if she had been abducted, or maybe if she ran off and eloped. But the newspaper noted that boarding a train was unlikely, as she was well known and recognized by all the train employees. Detectives investigated the possibility of a new boyfriend, but her close friends absolutely denied it. The newspaper dismissed the abduction theory due to the absence of footprints or signs of a struggle. Gertrude had plans for upcoming social events, indicating that she did not intend to leave or go anywhere. I mean, the St. Paul Globe reported on mind readers and clairvoyants attempting to find Gertrude. And then, a Frenchman named Dubois, with his clairvoyant appearance, possessing long hair, a full black beard, and a bulky figure adorned with overshoes. And he had a reputation for finding lost items such as stray horses or even stolen money. His ability to locate hidden things was remarkable. Dubois accurately described Mr. and Mrs. Strasburger despite seemingly having no prior knowledge who were Gertrude's parents. He then provided a diagram of the journey taken by a missing girl. including her path along the river, up Broadway, and near Hotel Cookston, where DeBow then lost track of her. Although DeBow has consulted with Mr. Strasburger, Mayor Hitchcock, and Chief of Police Creamer, the missing girl was not yet found. Now, it remains uncertain whether she was truly held against her will in a nearby building or if she was even there at all, as no footprints were found except for those her male friend made leading away from the scene. I mean, I just want you guys to think about this for a second. Truly think about if you were skating on a frozen river with your friends in the snow all around, and say there's 6 of you, and all of a sudden your friend Stacy just goes missing. You're like, Stacy, where'd Stacy go? John, where'd Stacy go? I don't know. You look around, there's no cracks in the ice, no water for miles, more importantly, like I said, no cracks in the ice, and no footprints. And you're just stumped, and you do a whole perimeter search, and there's not one footprint. What would you think? Well, initially, her party assumed Gertrude was playing hide and seek when they found the log empty upon their return from the race. The only clue left behind was a warm glove left on the log where she had been sitting, along with footprints from Gertrude and the young man who made the fire, just around the fire though. So this is when Mystery Files, me, stepped into their dimension over 120 years ago and said, guys, what are you doing? Look around. You know there's no footprints. She's obviously not playing hide and seek. Something out of this world might have happened to her. I think it's time for all of you to sharpen up your blades, skate around, and hope that she's still out there. They all asked if I was another DeBow figure, and I said no, I'm much better than that. I'm a Mystery Files guy. And if you live from now in about 120 years, if you get to that old, you should definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel where I tell your story then. The women curtsied and the men waved to me like I was from the future or something. I told them, okay, stop staring and go. They offered me an extra pair of skates to ask if I wanted to help with the search, but I politely declined and said that my ankles feel weak, and then I transported back to this timeline. So a broader search after that was conducted when they realized Gertrude was not hiding and was indeed now missing. So up and down the skaters went, frantically calling the missing young woman, but no answer came floating back to them. The ice was searched for holes through which the young woman could have fallen, but not one could be found. So having searched the ice, they turned to the woods surrounding them at the edge of the river. The white snow was blissfully there, but it was undisturbed. And as the searchers looked for more and more, their alarmingness increased. Not a single mark of any other kind was there to be found. Through the trees you could hear the dismal sobbing of the wind as it swept along, laughing derisively at the bewilderment of the young men and women as they crowed aloud for the companion. The party then raced back home and alerted all their friends and families, who all turned up to help for the search. And as the night grew darker and darker and the wind became stronger, the air seemed filled with all these whispering voices. And inside the woods, an ominous silence then filled the forest. And it was dark, so the trees, they stood out like hideous monsters, frightening the seekers and telling them, too, that their search would be futile. Day after day, the search for Gertrude resumed, without ever to this day ending in one single clue. Now, this is a very tricky one because, like I've said 5 times, where are the footprints? It would seem almost as she just snapped into a different realm. Or maybe in 1903, extraterrestrials and UFOs weren't pop culture yet, so there is that angle to look at it from as well. I have personally 3 theories. Number 1, a UFO took her. Number 2, the story about how her ex-lover from the afterlife took her is actually true. Or number 3, she wanted to disappear and all of her friends would have had to been in on it. And if you have a better or different suggestion on what happened, please let me know right now in the comments. Then please hit that like button and get this up to at least 50, maybe even 55 likes. I love you all, but that's all I got for you today. Cheers.